Thank you. Okay, folks, what you're looking at here is a humerus. Let me go wide on this. And this happens to be a right humerus. Am I correct in saying it's right?
Yes.
So it's, again, being able to identify whether it's left or right is you have to know certain things about the bone. You have to know two things: what's medial and lateral, and what's front and back, or anterior and posterior. I know that the head of the humerus has to face medially because it goes into the glenoid fossa of the scapula. So it can either go in this way or it can go in this way. However, this is the lesser tubercle of the humerus, and I know that faces anterior. I know that because you spent time looking at these bones. So if this goes medially and this is anterior, it's got to be a right. It cannot be a left, because if it was a left, this lesser tubercle of the humerus would be facing posteriorly. So you don't have to go by that. You can go by other things, but again, you have to understand to ascertain left from right. You have to know what's front and back and medial and lateral, and from that you're able to tell. Speaking of tubercles, here is the greater tubercle of the humerus. Let me go over this again. This is the lesser tubercle. This is the greater tubercle. In between, we have a groove, and that's called the intratrabecular groove. Long-headed biceps brachii tendon goes through this groove. You look down further, and on the lateral side, about midway down the humerus, you're going to see a roughened area. And it's hard to see on this particular bone because it's fake, but if you look at the real bone, it has a little more detail. There's a roughened area. And this is known as the deltoid tuberosity. This is where your deltoid muscle, your main shoulder muscle, inserts right there. And again, this roughened area is created by the yanking of muscle on the tendon connecting on that bone. If we go to the the distal epiphysis rather, of the humerus, it's a funky looking structure here. And first of all, you'll notice that we have condylar structures. What is a condyle? Knuckle, okay, knuckle-like. And you can see here that this whole area here is the condyle, and on top of the condyles we have epicondyles. Now, if we look at this, we're going to divide this condylar structure into two separate structures. There's the capitulum, which articulates with the head of the radius, and then there's the trochlea, which means pulley system. This articulates with the trochlear notch of the ulna. Now, again, I encourage you guys, when you're in open lab or at the the skeleton in the study hall, that you guys look at the configuration, the actual the articulations between radius and humerus and ulna and humerus. We have a coronoid fossa here. That's where the coronoid process of the ulna sits. And then we have this big, huge, fat fossa that points posteriorly. This is the olecranon fossa, and that is where the olecranon process of the ulna sits when you extend your arm. When you flex your arm, the coronoid process sits in there. And again, you guys need to look at that on an articulating skeleton. All right. Did I hit all the parts on the humerus? Anybody have questions? Okay, can we stop that again? Thank you, sir.